Hello everybody and welcome back to Simulation Section. It's me and more central off that main big channel that films buses. So yes, hello all. Welcome, buses on trains I should add. Welcome to Bishop Auckland. We have got yet another Train Simulator classic video. I am really getting back into the Train Simulator stuff. And this one is a bit more of a classic. I was going to do another Airedale and Wharfdale line video straight after the previous one, but I thought we were on about the Northern Network that much in the previous one, and we were on about like the North East as well, where the 156s operate, that I got reminded of this lovely release by Just Trains quite a few years ago. That is the Bishop Auckland Darlington line. And they released this quite a few years ago. And it was sort of one of these where you could buy it with the Class 153, which is what I did. I got both of them together. And in this video, we are having a run. We'll open the doors. A run from here, which is Bishop Auckland, all the way through to Darlington. Calling it a few stations, if I can get that view a little bit better. That is Shulsden, Newton Aycliffe, Hayington, North Road, and Darlington. Now, I've actually driven this particular route as a rail replacement bus driver, so it is actually quite cool to be driving it in the virtual world, and it's been quite a while since I last drove it. So, come on, there we go. Get the indicator on. We will get our key in. There we go, get that sorted, and we'll change our destination blind. Now, this particular one, I believe, is part of the enhancement pack. Now, let me remember how on earth I'm doing this. I thought it was F7 and F6, and it clearly isn't. Okay, we're leaving the destination like that for this one. But basically, I have installed the 153 enhancement pack. I'm going to assume that this scenario hasn't updated it. So we'll still be going with a slightly older rendition, but still decent enough. And with that in mind, there's no time like the present to make a move. So this is one of the base scenarios that you get with the Darlington to Bishop Auckland line. As obviously the 153 very, very heavily relied on this when it was released. So the line isn't perfect, it is a little bit old here and there, so you will notice the bits where obviously we've just driven the brand new Wharfdale and Airedale line, so you'll notice a few bits that are like, oh, it's a bit old compared to that, but it's one of these old but gold maps. It's nice enough, it's a lovely route, we get to drive a 153. Yes, it isn't the most fancy interior on the 153, but it still has an interior that I will argue is better than quite a lot of them. And we'll get to drive in the snow. That at the moment, over the past few weeks of weather, does feel quite appropriate driving in the snow, and we're already speeding. This is not good, people. Slow it on down, there we go. So it does feel quite appropriate driving this in the snow, it's quite nice. I have, using this mod, this as I say is a basic older unit. That's why I think that it is sort of using the enhancement pack, but I think it's got a bit confused at the destination blinds, because there is a free to download off, I want to say RJW Wales, or Welsh Developments, I can't remember the name, I'll link them anyway, I'll link them in the description, that have created a free enhancement pack for the 153 that changes how the destinations work, as the destination blinds on the base model, that as I say, I think because this is an older scenario, I think that's why it's getting a little bit confused. Oh, we don't want to do that. That's why I think it's getting just a little bit confused. Oh, that might be screenshot worthy, I think. I very much think that'll be screenshot worthy. But basically, they have got an enhancement pack for the 153. I do think because this is a slightly older scenario, the game's got a little bit confused. But nevertheless, it's still nice enough. And we've got the lovely town and establishment of Bishop Auckland in the background. The most I remember from Bishop Auckland was the Popeyes. It turns out that there's a bay right outside the Popeyes that you can fit a bus in. and that's about as much as I've done from Bishop Auckland. So I've never been on this line as a passenger on the train. I have obviously driven it by bus. I've driven all sorts of different contraptions on this actually. I think the main one I had when I did this section from Darlington, because I've done the other side to this quite a lot, the other bit that goes up to Middlesbrough, that's not featured on the route, and I've done that bit quite a lot. But on this side of the line, I had a B70L ALX 400, an incredibly nice bus. As I say, it's not my main level of expertise area-wise, unfortunately, and it was still a nice area to drive in, nice enough stations. And it's an interesting route. And for those starting up in Train Simulator and wanting to try up a few different things and bits and bobs like that, especially when Just Trains have a sale, this route is absolutely ideal to get. It's a nice little simple route, showcasing a bit of the north of England, one of the more random branch lines in the north, because we have quite a lot of routes that reflect sort of the main lines and the main routes through the north, but we hardly have any that reflect these sort of single track lines and bits like that. And again, this is I can tell you now, this is definitely using the enhanced 153, because you can see all the muck on the front, and as well on the side it's not shiny. As that is something, if you do buy this straight away, you will notice that this train, sorry, it's not a bus. This train, because it's an older Train Simulator unit, is incredibly shiny. That's a little bit unrealistic, especially saying that it's an older unit. So we're going to the saloon. Quite an ironic statement from me actually, because last time I went in here in the previous video, the AWS came on and didn't give us any chance to change it. So we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We can see it. We can see it. Hopefully there's tracks there as well. Cross fingers. Never know. What's also good about this route, that is something they emphasised when it did come out many years ago, is that when we get to Shildon, it showcases the National Rail Museum at Shildon. Most people think of the National Railway Museum as just being in York, and the main one is in York, but Shildon is the one. Shildon is the one further up the line, which sort of further north, a little bit like near Darlington, that has a few more of the rarer units, a few more of the obscure stuff, and the stuff that didn't quite make it into the main one in York. So they look after them and maintain them. And what's really good about this route in Train Sim, we haven't slowed down in time. And what's good about this route in Train Sim is it showcases that, and it usually has a couple of units set outside in these scenarios. That again is another reason to do these scenarios. I do also like the updated repaint on this as part of the enhancement pack, that again does have the grime and the dirt, and it also has the old Northern logos, that as you can all probably guess by now, as something I'm a big fan of, saying that the two videos we've done so far have been of the same era of Northern. I do also really like the snow. When I was looking through the scenarios, I thought that this would be really appropriate with all the snowy weather at the moment that everybody has had. Everybody except sort of us in Sheffield. As of the time of filming this, we've not really had as much snow. Usually we are one of the places that really suffers with it, and we usually get it quite a lot. So it is actually quite nice that everywhere else has had it, except us for once. That I will admit is a bit strange. It is a bit strange, but everybody else can enjoy it, and they can have it, because for once it's quite nice for us to not have to suffer it. Because usually the whole world grounds to halt around here when we get snow. So it's quite nice to see everybody else enjoying it for once. Yeah, the blinds ain't wanting to play ball. I think it's because it's obviously a crossover between me using the 153 enhancement pack and what was pre-existing with the pre-existing scenario. So there we go, leaving Shildon. And if we look over here, you can see the other section of railway, which I believe, I don't know the speed of it. There's a shed over there, and then when we turn it around here, as you can see, all the exciting stuff keeping a close eye on that speed limit to make sure we don't go over. All the exciting stuff. And what is also quite good with the scenarios on this is it only uses sort of like basic trains from like the basic train sim packs that most people at this point tend to have. So you've obviously got the 55, the steam engines, and then if we look inside, a few extra cool bits. Again, this map was a little bit ahead of its time. You've got the nice iconic Deltic that they have there as well. A reskin on a pre-existing 55, but still does the job. And there's some poor bloke sat in there waiting for his train, probably been in there about 20 years, and another passenger there waiting for the train to move. They will be there a while. It also does look really good. I think last time I drove this from memory, I had my settings really low, so I didn't get to enjoy the weather quite as much. But you've got obviously the cloudy weather. You've got, it isn't the highest quality of units, obviously, as you can see with sort of some of the textures and bits, but it does look absolutely stunning. It really does. And as I say, in the northern livery as well, it's just, oh, it's so good. Now, once again, as in the previous video, when I was talking about units that I saw never went on, I never actually did any of these 153s when they were operating with Northern. I've been on many a 155, because we've obviously still got 155, 341, 347, all the 155s which were made. I need to stop speeding, this is getting a bit silly. There we go. Distracted. It's because it's a really slow line, and the last one that we did, it was like 80-90 miles an hour. But this was another sort of unit I never went on. I've been on the 155s loads, I still go on them, but I never went on the 153s, and I do want to go at some point to Wales and go on the Transport for Wales 153s that we've still got. It is on the to-do list. Whether I do get a chance to do it or not is a very different story, but it's something I do want to do. Now, talking of 155s, because obviously the 155s are two 153s coupled together, as part of the enhancement packs and all sorts of various bits I've installed, I have also got myself a couple of 155 sets for Train Simulator, and a couple of routes that they are actually applicable on. So if you are interested in watching videos of me drive a 155, then please do let me know, because I do have a scenario in mind set up, and if people are interested in it, I will work to get it running, and I will work to put it together, because I think it would be really cool if I do manage to get it all set up. Something else with Train Sim that is so easy to forget, especially when you do run it for quite a while on lower settings, is even on routes like this, just the detail that's created by the weather, the unit that you're driving. I mean, don't get me wrong, from outside some people look like they've got half an head, but again, it is an older unit, it is an older train, but it's still, as I say, you've got like cloudy weather with the snow on the ground. It just looks so cool. It really does. Slow down for Newton Aycliffe now. I'm going in a little bit slower after the incident at Bingley in the previous video. Do go and check it out if you haven't already. I'm not taking any chances, because I think I was just that busy having a natter. I just totally forgot to brake. Just totally forgot to brake within a sensible time frame. There we go, with the yellow light as well. As I say, because it has been sort of so long since I've properly driven Train Sim, like as I say, I've been doing a few various bits to set it up so it was all ready to go for doing all of this driving. But apart from that, I've not done much with it. So it is really cool to be back having proper drives, proper runs with it, and just reliving my northern-based childhood. As I say, anybody who grew up down south is like, oh well, they have old units up there. Yes we did. Yes we did. That's why when I'm doing scenarios and bits, you are gonna see a lot more scenarios from me when I'm making them based around this era of Northern and the surrounding operators. So there's going to be a lot based around this, based on memories of mine and research I do and stuff like that. That's why I'm really looking forward to getting back into it. And sort of a little bit older as well, because I'm a big fan of Metro Train. Although I wasn't around for the Metro Train era, I've done a lot of research into it. I do have a model railway set, which now, as of last week, when I managed to purchase something off eBay, now has 3 Metro Train units to go on it. So I'm hoping to get that set up at some point. I thought that bus were going to fly then. That was a speedy hill climb. So it is something I am wanting actively to do, is that model railway, but for now it's a little bit easier and a little bit cheaper to play in train sim. So that's what we will do for now. But it is a nice unit, it's this 153. Really is. And as I say, I think it's Major Welsh Productions. I'm rubbish with names. I will have a research and I will link them in. But they do the 153 enhancement pack. So even before you touch driving this unit, once you've purchased it, make sure you download that. It is free and it brings the 153 into modern day train sim. Yes, there are still a few bits. They're a little bit older than others. And yes, I will admit that what we're driving now is a little bit of a hybrid between the new and the old one. Mainly external, where it's more of the enhancement pack. But I promise you, when you do use the proper enhanced one and a new scenario made for it, the destination blind working makes a difference, with more blinds in it as well, so you can run to more destinations and on more routes realistically. And as I say, other bits and bobs have been done. But it's still quite good to drive this, because as you can see, there's still a little bit more accuracy with it. I mean, when I first drove this, it just didn't look quite as good. But as I say, it really does make a difference. Just a free enhancement pack. He's also done an enhancement pack for a few other DMU and EMU units that again are entirely worth getting. I cannot recommend them enough. They are really worth acquiring. As I say, if you have purchased these paywares, you can't go wrong with a free enhancement pack. It's a very similar thing to when you're driving an OMSI, where you purchase a payware add-on and they do enhancement packs like the Optare Solo one recently. They are worth getting, they are free, and they will enhance what you're driving. And as I say, for this, definitely, especially when you've paid for the train, having just a much nicer dash, having a much nicer external livery where it's not shiny, having a couple more repaints that are accurate as well, a bit of muck on the front, a bit of realism like that, and destination blind that works a little bit better and looks a little bit more realistic. Believe me, that it's so worth it. So worth it. Especially, as I say, when it's free. Because in Train Simulator, as we all know, people like to make a lot of money. People always do. Paywares are quite expensive, and sometimes even enhancement packs cost money. So very lucky that for a train like this, the enhancement pack is free. They've also, in more recent times, updated the Armstrong Powerhouse 142. So it's just trains that really didn't do much with this when they released it. But Armstrong Powerhouse relaunched their 142. But they relaunched it so that people that already had it purchased automatically got the update that was pretty cool. So I automatically got the update of it. So I'm now driving the updated 142. And it was sort of done in response to Train Simulator, DTG releasing their 142. And Armstrong Powerhouse basically went, yeah, we can do better than that. And then launched theirs. That I haven't slowed down in time. I keep doing this. It's because it's a slow line. I can only blame myself. Let's slow it down a little bit more, because we are going over crossover. That's where we have to slow down, because we are now back to single track line again. It also isn't the most exciting most exciting scenario for the sort of like traffic and stuff. I think lines like this, when it's a lot of single track, is a little bit more difficult to make sort of other traffic pass you. Now, I also would imagine that because this was early days of train sim, the scenarios also had to be made quite basic. It isn't what I've done previously, is this? I must point that out as well. It's my first time doing this scenario, but I thought something different. It's one of the shorter ones as well, because last time was a bit of a longer video. So it's one of the shorter ones, nice and cool, nice steady fields, and a bit of a contrast to what we did last time, where it was a lot of urban West Yorkshire. This is a little bit more rural. Although it would be really nice if I didn't keep speeding, wouldn't it? Really, really nice. So please do keep letting me know as well in the comment section what you would like to see from this series, what you'd like to see me film. I do still have the random stuff, so for those of you that do remember, I might do it for the next video, we'll see. I still have the likes of the Blackpool tramway. The only issue, that's really loud. To say that that's crossing is there. How is that so loud? Why am I hearing it? Oh my gosh, it's not for me, it's for the traffic. Goodbye. That was really loud. But I do still have the Blackpool tramway installed. Unfortunately, because it was on the old computer and I've since updated, when I did install it, sadly I forgot to move quite a lot of the Blackpool objects over, and I can't find them for the life of me. I have scoured and scoured and scoured, and I remember when I got the Blackpool tramway route, I mean we're talking like 10 years ago now, when I got it, it was incredibly difficult to find then. So I don't think I'm going to come across it again, because half the sites that I used to use don't exist anymore and various bits like that. So if people are interested, I will drive it. Unfortunately, the likes of Blackpool Tower and Pleasure Beach won't exist as much. That'll be a bit disappointing. But if you can get over that kind of issue, I'm quite happy to have a little drive of a Blackpool tram on train sim again. Just let me know. I don't have many of the other train sim units installed, like trains and trams installed anymore. So I have the balloon car and the boat car, but from memory I think that's about it now. I also have Candlewick still installed, that I didn't realise I did. Candlewick was like another tramway line that was made many, many years ago, a nice freeware project, and that had a railway line and a sort of tramway network on it that was pretty cool. And there was also, again, many, many years ago, a London route that was done, like absolutely ages ago, on the tramway side. And again, if people would be interested in that, I will quite gladly try and find it. But the problem is nowadays that much has changed with this simulator that stuff like that is just very impossible to find, sadly. One thing I will admit that is really, really nice to be back in the train simulator world is because of how you drive these in train simulator, unlike when you're driving a bus in Omsey, is I can actually just drink a lovely cup of tea. So I've got a lovely Earl Grey sat next to me that I am drinking as we go through this. That's pretty cool, to be fair. Again, I still can't get over how nice the snow looks. I do think it does really help to give the effect of this route. As I say, you can see it's a lot more basic, a lot more simple than the likes of what we drove in the previous video, but it is nice to compare and contrast. And I've always been a fan of this route. It has always been a cool route, and one that I do like to showcase from time to time. I may even put my own scenarios up for this, using the kind of units that do this line. I might do that. We'll see how we go. See what happens and see how we go with that. But I've also got like loads of other northern routes. So I've got the Leeds to Manchester route that, believe it or not, I've had for I've had for a bit now, I think. I don't know if I can't remember if I bought it quite recently. I might have bought it recently. One of the more recent purchases. But I know I've had it for a little bit. And I am yet to drive it. I haven't driven that route yet. And that is like the proper Transpennine Manchester to Leeds lines. Now, if people are enjoying what I do and they want me to sort of do a little bit more, I have had my eye on the Class 185 that has been made. Because obviously that is like the staple diet of the Transpennine Railway. That is like the proper stuff. So I have had my eye on that for some time. I might get it if people are interested and people want to see that sort of thing, especially as I'll be quite happy to make some scenarios and things related around that. They're pretty cool. If people are interested in that, then please do let me know, because it is something I will quite happily oblige to. Because I do really want 185, but I only want to get it if I'm obviously going to use it. Because it's one of these things, buying it and be like, oh yeah, I've got this for train sim, I've got this, but if you don't use it, there's no point of having it. So if people are interested in something like that, then please do let me know. Please do let me know in the comments, and I might look into it. We'll probably do a drive on the line before anyway, so because I don't particularly want to just go straight in with modern day. The line, although all the signage as far as I'm aware is modern day on it, because I have spawned myself into Huddersfield once, and so as far as I'm aware, oh, the station bits down here. As far as I'm aware, all the station bits and bobs are quite modern based, but because Train Simulator, when they put stuff on Steam, panics for copyright, they always base them like in the late 90s with the rolling stock and the scenarios that they provide. So it is like, it'll have, from memory, I believe they all have all the modern northern stops and bits like that. And then this is just, well, I think we're going to have to offload half the people at the wrong side, I think, because otherwise we're going to run out of platform. Yeah, we'll do this. I mean, they're still open. They're just going to find themselves at the wrong side of the platform, and that again is another slight problem with this particular route, is because it is a bit old. As you can see on the bottom, I stopped for the green bit and then realised that it was actually only half the platform, and that they haven't sort of properly reflected on that. It is still pretty cool. I mean, you've still got the cool signage of the old North Road and a tracked bit of railway, and then the Darlington Railway Museum, because again all of this line is like all museumy bits, and it's really cool. So again, another reason why it was put into Train Sim so early on, just as this really random route, because there was so much like railway history going on this line. It was just really cool to do. Now, as I say, I do want to crack on with the Manchester to Leeds line. I really do. That'd be really cool. Do let me know what you think. If it is worthwhile me getting the 185, and that'd be something you'd be interested in watching. Because obviously, if you're not interested, or possibly you've got it and you're like, it might not be the best thing in the world, I'm probably not going to bother. But I still like to hear your opinions on these things. And if people are watching this and enjoying it, then it makes sense, doesn't it? So I also want to drive, as I say, all the endless list of other lines that I've got. I've got quite a lot of stuff that, in all honesty, I forgot about. Absolutely tons of stuff. I mean, I could do with getting the Class 755, the flirts, that they've got, because I've got the Wherry lines from Norwich to Great Yarmouth, and having been there not so long ago, I do kind of feel, although I didn't travel by train locally around there, I did obviously go through the station on the local train that I caught. So it does feel like a line I want to drive. Again, I have got it, so it'd be nice to drive it. So it's just one of the various bits of track that I do really want to drive. I have absolutely tons of Train Simulator. As I say, I've had the simulator game probably now for 12 years. 12 or 13 years I've had Train Sim. So it is like all these different routes and all these different enhancements and all these different units I've got. I do really want to show them off. Really, really do. So as I say, if you've got any suggestions of bits you'd like to see, do let me know, because I've missed that screenshot up, because the highly likely chance is that I already have the unit or possibly even the route that you wanted me to showcase. So we're now arriving into Darlington. We're back on the main line for a little brief stint. We're saying the main line, we're going alongside the main line. To be fair, it also be nice to have a crack at the York to Darlington line, York to Newcastle line, sorry, via Darlington and Durham and that lot, because I do also have that from Just Trains. Again, I got it quite a few years ago. I remember watching the release trailer for that, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. The music and everything was just absolutely amazing. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that release trailer. Just a really random, quirky thing. But I thought the release trailer, the music and everything was just awesome. So now I've got the Voyager because I got it with the North Wales route. That would be really cool to take that up there in cross-country livery and have a little stint with that, I think. That'd be pretty awesome, I think. So again, let me know if that is something of any interest. Now again, you can tell that this is an old train sim route because they've used the Darlington station, but they haven't they sort of moved the track away from the line. That's a little bit weird. You can tell it's sort of an old style thing, and the platform has only just properly started. So we'll try and land it roughly in the middle. Again, this is like an old East Yorkshire, East Coast mainline route from original train sim. We're talking as old as like it was one of the first videos that NerdCube did, but with sort of Just Trains enhancement that I had forgotten just how cool the enhancement does look with all the extra little bits that they added and the information posters and stuff. Yeah, you can tell it's old style pixelated stuff, but it's still pretty cool. Still really cool, and as I say, a nice contrast from what we previously drove. And a reminder is obviously the bits and bobs that are there. So, with that in mind, as the passengers sort themselves out, that is the end of the video. So, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. Hope you've enjoyed the routes, as I say, from Bishop Auckland, Darlington. I will link this and the 153 pack in the description below, and also the enhancement pack for the 153 that does make such a difference when you're driving the unit. As I say, it's sort of like a bit of a hybrid of what we've had in this video, because it is an old Just Train scenario for the older one, but parts of the enhancement pack have worked, parts of it haven't, i.e. the destination's blocked out, but other bits of the enhancement pack have worked that you can see. But what I'll do at some point in a future video is I will showcase more of the enhancement pack, and I'll also showcase the 155 unit that I've got to show you the differences between this and that, of what's been done, the leverage you can get for that, and what have. Just let me know in the comments as usual, as I have emphasised, I think a good couple of times. I've probably emphasised it enough. Just let me know what you'd like to see regarding routes, trains, reskins. Let me know, and I will see what I can do. For now though, thank you all for watching. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have done, then please do click that like button. It really supports the growth of the channel, because if you click that like button, the video comes up for more people, and then more people can watch it. And then hopefully, if you haven't already, do be sure to subscribe to the channel simulation section for more content like this from the simulation worlds of Train Simulator, OMSI 2, the Bus Simulator, and much more. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video I make. Bye for now. Bye.